At least 2 Americans have died from an infection linked to cosmetic surgery clinics in Mexico. The Texas Health Department says that they got fungal meningitis while undergoing surgical procedures in the town of Matamoros. Another 17 people suspected of having the potentially deadly infection, according to the CDC. More than 200 Americans had a procedure done in Matamoros during the outbreak, which took place between January 1st and May 13th of this year. For more on this, I'm joined now by Dr. Corey Hébert. He works at the LSU School of Medicine. Thanks for being here. So fungal meningitis, first of all, what is it?
Well, Marni, let me tell you something. This has disturbed me to my core this morning. First of all, meningitis is a horrible disease. Most people have heard about it. It is an infection of the meninges, which are the linings of the spinal cord, right? So you don't really get this unless you are exposed to someone who has meningitis, as it would be something that would be viral or bacterial. But when you get a fungal meningitis, it is from them using a needle to put into the spinal cord for an epidural anesthesia. Sometimes, like, when you are pregnant and you are going to have a baby and you want to have a C-section. The issue, though, is that I have been in Brownsville, Texas, more times than I can count. I've been to Matamoros many times. Great people, great food. Some people say it's not so safe. I wouldn't go there. But what I will tell you is that when I'm there, one thing I'm not doing is having surgery. And I am warning everyone, you do not go to Matamoros, Mexico, or out of this country and have a needle inserted into your spinal cord. This is something that you should not do because it all depends on the cleanliness of the facilities. It has nothing to do with whether it's Matamoros or not. It's the places that people go for cut rate, cosmetic surgery. You get what you pay for. This is not a good thing, and we need to just stop this right now.
All right, heard. Real quickly before I move on to another health topic, is there a treatment or a cure for fungal meningitis? What do we do?
Absolutely. You get antibiotics high level, but the problem is a lot of those medicines that we treat fungal meningitis with can be very toxic to the liver. So we need to be very careful about that. But there is a treatment. There is a treatment.
You don't want to get it, step one. All right, there is a new study that looked into why cases of colorectal cancer are surging in people under the age of 45. Researchers are suggesting a person's microbiome, which is a collection of bacteria, viruses, and the fungi that naturally live in our bodies, play a role. They found significant differences in the microbiome detected in younger and older adults. Researchers say more studies are needed to confirm a possible connection here. But tell us more about this research and what you want to highlight about it.
Yeah, this is very important. 70% of your entire immunity is in your gut. And we know now that if your gut is out of balance, we know that processed foods, which are class A carcinogens, we know that now. If your gut is out of balance, then you are going to have some problems. The bacteria and the fungus that happen to be now that are isolated in the colon of these young people, these are probably the culprits. Now, people say, well, wow, I didn't think that a bacteria or a fungus or something like that could cause a problem in the gut. Well, we didn't think that a bacteria would cause the ulcers that people get in their stomachs. But we now know that H. pylori or Helicobacter pylori is the thing that causes the ulcers, not just stress. So now we have these links. So what I'm recommending to people is please make sure you take your probiotics, make sure you decrease your stress, decrease your alcohol, eat fresh food, eat vegetables, decrease a lot of the fast food and processed foods that you're eating. And that means bacon, sausage, hot dogs, all these types of things, because these are processed meats, and these processed meats actually cause cancer. We know this now. It is not something that we're thinking about. It's something that we know. So please, if you're that age, decrease the stress, the alcohol, and make sure you eat at least 5 servings of vegetables or fruit a day, which will decrease your risk of cancer a lot.
All right, and the probiotics helps. All right, researchers are also finding a significant rise, doctor, in the number of health insurance claims that are being denied. According to a recent study, one insurer, just one, denied an astonishing 80% of claims in 2020. A second insurer turned down 49% in 2021. Despite the impact that denials have on a patient's health or their finances, it's estimated that people appeal only once in every 500 cases. Is this something that you're seeing and hearing about?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've worked with insurance companies for a long time, and they have denial nurses, people that actually just deny. Okay, so there was a study that came out recently that said that it had a fake doctor, meaning a AI doctor, and a lot of people figured that the AI doctor was nicer than the real doctor. So we're going more towards these algorithms. Algorithms are set up in an if-then type of situation, so they are going to set up to be denied. Okay, your claims are going to set up to be denied. But what you need to remember, and I'm giving you a little secret here, between you and I, if you get denied, your doctor, when my patient gets anything denied, when I call, I get it done probably about 95 to 96% of the time because I override the algorithm because I'm a person and I'm talking to a person. Everything gets denied because the algorithm says, if you do this, then go this way. If you do this, go that way. And at the end, most of the time it's going to be denied unless someone human calls and says, hey, look, it's called a peer-to-peer. I need you to do this because, this lady needs this man needs this. And they're like, okay, we'll do it. But they don't do that for everyone because they're trying to make money. And this is America and that's capitalism. So we have to live with that. But just remember, get your doctor to write that letter or give that call and you'll probably get it done.
Doctor's orders, get it done. Dr. Corey Hébert, as always, thank you. Good advice this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.